Alright, everybody, let's get into the haves and the have nots review for the season finale or the mid season finale. So, we start out with Candace at her house, and I'm really over Warlock right now. He's at her house and he's mad because she told Benny that he should not work with Warlock. So Warlock moves up the deadline, says you have 48 hours. So after that, Erica comes in and she's got the forged documents for Candace to do the mortgage of the houses and the tow yard. So then, so clearly this is a big betrayal of Benny, and Candace is not going to have the money to pay back this loan. So it's really not going to be good. She's going to lose everything. I think that's what's going to happen. And so Erica, we find out that her sister was one of the girls that Warlock did some bad stuff to. Apparently, he mutilated Erica's sister Jasmine. And Candace gets into talking about her bringing her son home, and Erica just says, "No, no, don't bring him here. It's not safe. Let your mother have him." Erica says, "My father has my children. They don't want anything to do with me, but they are better off where they are at with him." So Candace does not listen. She's adamant about bringing her son home, all that, and but this whole mortgage mess is gonna go through. Then we get where let's talk a little bit about Jim and David. They have a scene. David's threatening him, "You better call this off or I'm gonna huff and puff." And Jim clearly does not care. Yet David thinks that his threats are going to force Jim to call off the hit. David threatens to testify against Jim in the trial. Jim says, "Well, that works both ways. I can talk too," and so Jim can bring David down too. Jim doesn't call anything off, and somehow he ended up with Veronica's wig, and he's twirling it and everything. And Jim is just like, clearly he's out of his mind right now after what happened to Wyatt, and considering that he already lost Amanda. Jim's not in a really good state of mind, and he's not going to care about the petty threats that David is issuing. So David gets nothing out of Jim, and that was that with him. So Candace goes on down to the bank to get her money for this mortgage, and she is wondering how quick she can get the money. She's like, "I need it in 48 hours." The banker says it takes 30 days. It's impossible for us to get that money in 48 hours. That's just not going to happen. She's clearly and visibly desperate here. And she's in real danger here. And it really kind of serves her right because she's getting ready to stab Benny in the back with this mortgage thing. So it kind of serves her right that she can't get a return on the money right away. Um, then we get to Catherine and the DA. Catherine is issuing her threats. She's saying, "You tell me where my son is. You call, or whether you call my son." All this stuff. She's really angry that Jennifer gave Wyatt access to his inheritance, because as we know, Wyatt is going to hurt himself seriously with all that money. Jennifer is not wavering until Catherine says, "I know you have eggs on file in this clinic in Washington, in Seattle. Um, I know about your family. I know all this." And Catherine is threatening her. She's essentially threatening her and her family. "If you do not, fix this with Wyatt, I'm going to destroy you and your family." And she just tells her, "I'll have you murdered in the street." and Jennifer starts to take her seriously. Catherine shows her the kit that these college students and other people use to filter their urine to pass a drug test. And Jennifer, you can see that she's like kind of puts the pieces together that Wyatt probably faked this. And so after Catherine leaves, Jennifer calls Wyatt, and it's not answering, goes straight to voicemail. She's like, Wyatt, please call me. And at this point, Jennifer is very desperate to get a hold of Wyatt because now Catherine has threatened to have her murdered in the street and all that stuff. And it's not good. It's not a good scene for Jennifer Salison. Okay, and so here comes Hannah up to Candace's house. And Hannah just acts like she's in control of everything. Because they're there having a meeting with Candace and Benny are having a meeting with the lawyer and Michael, who is the grandfather of the girl who got run over by Wyatt. They're having the meeting about the settlement. Hannah comes in raging. She's like, get out now. And Candace is like, wait a minute, this is my house. This is my house. And so the lawyer just says, you know what, let's let them talk. Let's go on. And so they leave. And so Candace and Hannah and Benny, they have it out. Well, more so Hannah has it out with Candace. Candace is pushing the idea that Hannah knew all along about what happened with Wyatt and the hit and run. And technically Hannah did know because she heard Wyatt come and say, I hit that man. And, you know, Hannah put two and two together, so she did know. But Candace is really trying to push this so that Benny turns against Hannah. At least that's the idea I get from the way that it's written. So, Hannah, she lets the cat out the bag that Candace blackmailed Jim Cryer for $7.4 million. She's considering that the settlement and tells Benny to let it go. Benny, after that, we don't really get a sense of where Benny will go on the settlement. He's just kind of like trying to process everything. And so Hannah gets on her hands and her knees and she's like, please, let me have that baby. Let me have that child. I came to beg you. And Candace is not having it. She's like, you know what, I'd rather my son be in foster care than end up with you. And so Hannah, she just drops the whole Christian act. She gets up just hollering and slaps Candace in the face. And then Candace she punches Hannah back. And it's like Hannah gets all bent out of shape. She's like, you hit your mother, blah, blah, blah. She goes through the whole prayer, Christian act and stuff. Oh, I'm washing my hands to you. And I'm like, Hannah, you came up in Candace's home and slapped her. You really think that Candace was going to take that in her home? And the whole time Benny's trying to be the middle ground. And he can't really do anything to mitigate that situation because Candace and Hannah are who they are, and nobody can really do anything to help them in that situation or mend that relationship or whatever. So Wyatt, he has gone on his drug binge. He's got his whole reckless party going on. He's passed out on the bed like that, and some of the people try to wake him up. He's not responding. The one dude's like, well, let's get out of here. So everybody, all of them people get out the room. The one girl, she made me laugh because she made sure she got her purse and her shoes and she got out of there. She's like, you're not pinning none of this on me. And so Wyatt, we don't know if he's dead or alive or anything. Because the hotel security, they come in and they check for a pulse. They can't get one. That's the last we see about Wyatt in this episode. So now let's go on to the banker and Jim. The banker comes to see Jim Cryer because he had called up and said he wanted to get and asked to get access to see Jim. He the banker gives Jim an update about Candace and the money, and Jim's like, she blew through all that money real quick like that. And the banker, because the banker tells him about the loan, and Jim says, you know what, give her the money, but hide in there a 15-day balloon payment. So, because if she doesn't pay all that money back within those 15 days, you are going to foreclose on all those properties. So, I'm guessing Candace is going to be so anxious to sign that contract to get that money to keep Warlock from killing her that she's going to just sign away everything and end up losing Benny's tow yard, Benny's house, and her house on top of that. And if she loses her house, somebody's going to find Quincy's carcass buried in that backyard, which is not good for her. So let me check my notes and see where we go next. Okay, so the social worker comes and she gives Candace $55,000. That's what she was able to get, which means she got the $25,000 that Oscar gave her, and she was able to get an additional $30,000. That's all she was able to get. And the social worker keeps asking Candace, when are you gonna come pick up your son? When are you gonna come pick him up? And Candace just keeps being like, bye, go on. So I don't know what Candace is thinking. I'm thinking that Candace is just gonna let the kid go into foster care, which is a terrible thing to let happen. And so after that, Jeffrey arrives in a cab, Veronica arrives in her car, and it's clear that Veronica is back to her old scheme and tricks when she's kind of like has this sort of like this sinister smirk. It's like she's got something that she's gonna use, and she does have something she's gonna use. She asks Jeffrey if this is where he's living now, and Candace is doing all the talking, and Veronica's like, well, can't you talk for yourself? And Jeffrey says, yeah, I'm living here. Veronica brings up Melissa, saying she's waiting for you to come back. She's waiting for you to come back. She's talking about we have a wedding to plan. And Candace is like, what are you talking about? And Veronica says, you're going to move in with me at my house. In regards to Jeffrey and Melissa. And, of course, Jeffrey's looking like you're crazy. I'm not doing that. Then all of a sudden, Veronica starts shaking all this water all over the place. And I knew what she was doing right from the start. I knew what she was doing. I said, that's luminol. That's luminol. And Veronica, she goes on about her way. And so Candace is like, what was that about? And then Candace notices that the floor is glowing. She's like, why is this floor glowing? Jeffrey's like, could it be poison? And Candace is like, nah, she's not that stupid. Candace turns off the lights, and lo and behold, blood everywhere. You can see the blood, because blood, you scrub. You're not going to hide that blood from the luminol. So Veronica has got them. Veronica has got them big time. So that was the cliffhanger for Jeffrey and Candace. Who knows? They may be in trouble for that next season. We'll see what happens. You know, Jeffrey's freaking out. He goes up in that sort of that high pitch tone that he gets. He starts kind of freaking out like a kid, and so of course he's gonna freak out because that's what Jeffrey is designed to do, is to freak out. And so the last part is this: Veronica is setting Maggie up for whatever reason. Veronica had called the police and she said she thought she saw somebody go into her neighbor's house, and by the time she arrives, the police are there and say, well, we didn't see anybody going there. Maggie Day arrives, and Veronica's smiling, hi, go on in. And I'm like, Maggie, why are you going in this woman's house? She hates you. But Maggie's stupid enough to go in. The dude's in there. He's got the thing. Maggie's face is like, we hear a bullet go off. Pow. That's it. Season finale. That's my review. Thanks for watching. Deuces.